it's Jessii Vee, and as you can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about some scary things that have to do with cotton candy. And you might be wondering, how can cotton candy be scary? You're about to find out. I also tried to go with like a cotton candy vibe with this sweater, you know, with like the pale blue and pale pink, but it is Care Bears. I love Care Bears. And by the way, if you are back here and you haven't seen my previous video, I did do like a mini update on my health. I am more stable now, but we still don't have all the answers yet. So, you know, I'm not 100% there. I think I may be 50% there. But I feel like I am moving towards improvement. And always thank you so much for your sweet messages. You guys are absolutely amazing. Also, if you have not seen yet, I do have a new backdrop behind me. I love it. It's just like swirly stained glass. I think it's so pretty how it's like black, but then there's like colors everywhere. And if you guys would like to win it, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel, turn on your notification bell, and then head over to my Instagram, Jessii Vee, give it a follow, and DM me the spiral emoji, because I feel like that's just, you know, fitting for this, and I'll be announcing the winner in a couple weeks. But yeah, with that being said, let's get right into today's video. First, talking about cotton candy history. So you know how dentists always tell you that candy is bad for our teeth? Well, what's interesting is that cotton candy is essentially pure sugar, and a dentist invented it back in 1897. His name was William Morrison. And while this is a pretty strange fact, it's important to know that the treat is mostly air, so it actually contains less sugar than other carnival treats like candy apples and funnel cakes. And when William Morrison came up with this fun pink cloud of a dessert, he first called it fairy floss, and I actually love that name, fairy floss. It sounds so magical. But there were other places around the world that called it very strange things. Things like sugar spiders, Papa's beard, and old lady's hair. I'm sorry, but fairy floss sounds just so much more appetizing. Like, I don't want to eat Papa's beard. That sounds really gross. Or old lady's hair for that matter, you know? It was sold in boxes for 25 cents, and in a short amount of time, he had sold more than 68,000 boxes at the fair. And in the early 1900s, cotton candy machines were very unreliable because they rattled loudly and broke down all the time. So it took them a very long time to create a machine that worked the way they wanted to. And have you ever stood and watched someone making cotton candy? It looks like magic. The operator rotates a paper cone around inside a machine, collecting thousands of tiny crystallized sugar threads. And once the puff of cotton candy is just the right size, it is time to eat it. So that's just like a quick overview of cotton candy. I do find it crazy that a dentist invented it, but good on him because it really stuck around. Okay, next we have a very creepy story. This is called Cotton Candy in My Head. This is a creepy story about a little girl named Lila that had recently moved to a new school, and she met another little girl named Shelby, and Shelby was very quiet and to herself. And one day Shelby invited Lila over to her house for a sleepover. The night was super fun at first. They made popcorn and watched movies. They painted each other's nails. And then around midnight, they were told that they had to go to sleep. And like all of us, whenever you're at a sleepover, you want to stay up as long as you can. You don't want to go to bed. You want to stay up talking and having fun. So they both sat in the dimness of Shelby's room, in their sleeping bags with a lantern in between them, just telling each other secrets. But suddenly, Shelby said something very strange.
Did you know that we all have cotton candy inside our heads?
Lila started to laugh because she knew that Shelby must have been joking. But she stayed serious and almost looked offended that Lila was laughing at her. No, we don't, Lila answered. We all have brains inside our head.
No, there's blue and pink cotton candy. I can show you.
Then Lila watched as Shelby took her finger and reached as far as she could up her nose. And by the way that she was clenching her eyes, it actually looked like it was hurting. But then she slowly pulled down, and out of her nostril came this long strand of pink fluff. It looked just like cotton candy. But Lila was still thinking that it must have been some kind of trick, like maybe Shelby had learned a magic trick and was just trying to fool her. But then Shelby reached up really far and pulled down a blue strand of fluff that once again looked just like cotton candy. And then the most shocking thing of all is that she tore off a piece of the pink and a piece of the blue and ate it. And she looked absolutely delighted by the taste. She was like, perfect, cotton candy, sweet.
See?
She exclaimed.
It's cotton candy, like I said.
She then pulled down some more and began offering it to Lila. And Lila didn't know what came over her because normally she wouldn't taste something coming out of someone else's nose. Obviously that's gross. But she did. She was just so curious. And just like Shelby claimed, it tasted just like cotton candy. It was fluffy. It was sweet. So the girls sat there giggling, pulling cotton candy out of Shelby's nose, eating it as they told each other their secrets. It was like they were just having like regular junk food at a sleepover. Hours and hours passed. It was like the cotton candy was endless until it wasn't. Mid-sentence, Shelby was pulling out another strand of cotton candy and it just abruptly came to an end. She reached into her nose and wasn't able to find any more. She looked at Lila in pure terror and then collapsed on the ground. She died there, right on top of her sleeping bag. The funeral was a week later, and as Lila stood there watching as her coffin was descending into the ground, she couldn't help but feel an itch inside of her nose, and she had to stop herself from reaching to see if there was any cotton candy to pull out. And that's how that one ends. Now, I do have a little admission to tell you guys. I wrote this story back in college. Am I crazy? Probably. This was back when I was like constantly writing like horror short stories to like put on Reddit no sleep. Some made it there, some didn't. This one didn't make it there. But I remembered it when I was doing research for today's video. It's weird, I know. I'm a little crazy. Disclaimer though, don't reach up to your nose trying to pull things out, okay? All right, I found this very short, it's kind of like a poem story, I guess. It's called Hidden Treat by Milk Teeth, and this is how it goes. Mommy hides away my favorite treat. It looks so tasty, I just want to eat. It's pink and fluffy and looks so sweet. I cannot wait for the day it and my tongue meet. Tonight she goes upstairs to take a bath, and in that time I do dash in tow with my step stool to make me tall to the basement ceiling where cotton candy does fall. I scoop it up and take a big bite. Right away I know something is not right. My hands are itchy, it feels kind of sharp. It's hard to swallow, my throat starts to warp. It doesn't taste sweet, my mouth tastes like blood. Suddenly I'm not feeling so good. Insulation. And insulation does look like cotton candy, but it is not. I remember when I was a kid, I used to like point to it and like squish it on the wall, and I'd be like, Dad, like it looks like cotton candy, and he was like, it is not. Do not eat that. Anyways, guys, that is the end of today's video. If you want me to continue doing creepy videos on snacks and treats that we had growing up, give this video a thumbs up and let me know. And maybe comment down below which one you want me to cover next. Anyways, though, I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!